Tiny Gamer here, and well, you saw the title of the video. It's gonna be a top 10 / tier list video. So, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I'm so passionate about ZZZ. I really do love this game, and making a top 10 list seems like a fun idea. So yeah, this is just a pretty silly idea that I have. Why not rank all the characters? Because why not? So yeah, I am going to be updating this list in the future once Jane Doe comes out, but as of right now I can't rank her. Same with Seth, we can't really rank them because they haven't been officially been released yet, so we can only theory craft and speculate on what they can do. So yeah, well, anyways, before we start on with the tier list, I do have a few disclaimers that I have to make. So number one, of course, I am using the redo stickers for this tier list. And since I am doing that, Lucy and Piper have not gotten their redo stickers yet. So I had to use their default portraits. Sorry about that. I know that they are in the game, of course. You can use their stickers in the chat. But they aren't really fully released yet in the news site for Hoyoverse. More specifically, the Zenless zzzero Hoyoverse. So I can't really use their stickers. And plus, cropping them out would be wasting time, and I need all the time in the world anyway, so yeah, I have to use their default portraits, so sorry about that. Number two is that I'm gonna be judging these agents based off of a few criterias, and I'll list them off right now. So one, of course, is going to be their kit. Their kit is obviously going to be their most important aspect, so I'm gonna be judging them off of their kit and how good they are in general. Two is teams. Teams are extremely important too. It is equal to kit. So yeah, I'm gonna be talking about their teams as well. So yeah, because of how much this game relies on teams and team synergy as well as additional abilities, teams are a really good, basically a extremely not overlooked factor on this. Basically what I'm trying to say is teams are important. They're just as important as kits. Number three is that I'm gonna be judging them based off of MC level as well. So for A rank specifically, since they are kind of easy to get in this game, I'm gonna be judging them based off of MC 6. Yeah, Mindscape Cinema 6. So A ranks like Piper, Lucy, Sokaku, all of them are considered to be MC 6. As for S-rank agents, since they are extremely hard to get, I will judge them based off of MC 0. So yeah, basically their vanilla kit. Their vanilla kit, basically. If it is a whale tier list, then yes, I will do a MC 6. But since this is just a general tier list and also a general top 10, I'm going to be judging them based off of those criteria. So basically, A ranks are MC 6. S ranks are MC 0. Fourthly, I will judge them also based off of, well, their best possible scenarios. And what I mean by that is they have their best possible discs on hand. So yeah, so basically for, well, let's say an example. For Ellen, of course she's gonna have Polar 4 disc, obviously. For Corin, yes, obviously she's gonna have 4-piece physical. For Lycon, yes, he's going to have 4-piece Shock Star. So basically, assume that every single agent here has their best possible disc set. As for W Engine, I will not rank them based off of their signature W Engine. And that's because you can basically run any W Engine you want and they practically are the same. W Engines are just mainly a extension to their kit. So yeah, I'm going to be judging them based off of discs, but not based off of W Engines to keep this list fair. Because some W Engines are extremely broken. And I'm talking about you, a certain automaton. Yeah. A certain automaton has one of the best W engines in the game. So I can't really, well, rank them based off of W engine. So yeah. Well, anyways, enough about me rambling. It's time to go on to the tier list itself. So without any further ado, let's just get this started. So I am going to be judging them based off of a 10 through 0 ranking. The reason why 0 is the number 1 spot is because it's Zenless Zone 0. I have to make that pun. But yes, Zero is going to be the top ranking. And I wanted to make an honorable mention too, because if I do not, then I will never forgive myself. So yeah. Well, anyways, let's do this. So at number 10, we have the truck driver of the Sons of Calydon, Piper. Yes, Piper Wheel is our number 10 spot for the list. So Piper Wheel is a physical anomaly character who specifically specializes in assault damage. You'll see what I mean once we reach her skills. So her core skill is extremely busted, but we're not going to be talking about that. And that's because we have to talk about her MC first. The reason why I wanted to talk about her MC first specifically is because it changes how her core and her skills work. So before we dive into the skills, we have to talk about her Mindscape Cinemas. So number 1 gives her 30 power stacks. Remember that. Remember that. And also, you get an additional 50% chance of getting a additional stack, which says she gets her stacks really, really fast. For MC2, she gets physical damage increase. Yeah, it's really, really good. And also, your movement speed increases on your EX special, which means that you're able to catch enemies, which is really, really good. And also, you get a power buff as well. For MC4, she gets 20 energy back, which means that she's able to get her spins back. And at MC6, she is able to increase the duration of the EX and also increase the duration of power stacks. Yeah, so keep that in mind once we talk about her kit. So as for her core, she gets a maximum of 30 power stacks that lasts for, well, not 12 seconds. It lasts for 16 seconds. And she's able to get a physical anomaly buildup rate of, in max form, 4%. That is really, really good. Especially on a character who uses anomaly. It is extremely, extremely, extremely busted. She's able to pop off assaults. And with a minimally built Piper, basically like around 300 physical anomaly buildup, or AP, or anomaly proficiency, she's able to do 100k assaults. 100k assaults. That is extremely high. And also, that's not all. If you, well, consider teams, you get 20, at 20 or more power stacks, you're able to get 18% damage for all your squad members. 18% damage for all your squad members. Remember how easy it is to get her power stacks thanks to Mindscape? Yeah, this is free. This is literally free. It is free. And it all revolves around her power stacks. Her power stacks is her main gimmick. And it also is her main bread and butter thanks to her EX. Her EX is the main thing that you are going to be using. None of her other skills really matter except for specials. Unless you are running main DPS Piper, then yes, ultimate counts too. But her main bread and butter is her engine spin. Her engine spin is extremely, extremely busted because she's able to spin really fast. She's able to get anti-interruption resistance, which is extremely good so her attacks won't get interrupted. And she gets a physical anomaly buildup extremely, extremely fast, especially if you give her her main discs. Yeah, this is broken. Absolutely busted as crap. She's able to do 100k assaults consistently because of it. If you pair her with another physical character, aka Nekomata or Korin, they're able to pop off assaults back to back. Yeah. You see what I mean by Piper is pretty good. I had to put an honorable mention for her, and that's because she's actually hidden, like, extremely good. She's like the underdog of this game. She is really, 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 really busted. The only problem is, well, now I have to talk about her downsides. One, you only are going to be using her EX because her literal basic attack is just that. Why would you use this when you could use your basic attackers like Korin or Nekomata instead of her? Two, her assists aren't really that bad, but then again, once you do a chain, she's slow. She's absolutely slow to switch out. So keep that in mind if you are going to be using her for chain attacks. She is pretty slow to switch. because she has a long animation where she slams down, and that's because of this one, really heavy. Really heavy is the thing that she uses on chain. So yeah. As for her other ultimate, her ultimate is okay, but you are going to be using the ultimate mainly for assault damage. If you aren't going to be running Piper as the main DPS, then this ultimate is completely useless. So yeah, she is just, in general, a EX button spammer. That is what her main role is, and also to get more power stacks to increase the damage of her party members. Speaking of teams, and speaking of her additional ability, she really has limited options, and that's what keeps her not in the top 10. The reason why is because if you look at all of her lists on what characters that she can sync up with, really only have like a handful. You have Lucy, Nekomata, Corin, and Billy. Yeah, not really a great synergy option, is there? You can kind of make this up by putting other agents in there. So you can use something like a full physical team with Nekomata, Corin, and then Piper. You could make a fire physical with 11, Piper, and Lucy, or Ben, Piper, Lucy, or something similar to that. But her team options aren't really that good. The best team that you could possibly make with her is with 11. So 11, Piper, Lucy. That is probably going to be your best team. But other than that, her teams kind of suck. But once 1.2 comes out with the Sons of Caledon, she's probably going to be extremely, extremely good. And she'll probably not be in the honorable mentions. But as of right now, she desperately needs help. She doesn't have that many teams. Her main gimmick is just to do physical anomaly buildup. And a certain rat is going to be replacing her soon. So, yeah. Well, anyways, there is Piper. She is our honorable mention. She's still pretty good. I will say that. She is still extremely, extremely good. It's just that she doesn't have that many teams to go on compared to our other characters on the list. So, yeah. Well, anyways, there is our honorable mention, Piper. As for number 9, now we're actually getting to the top 10. So at number 9, we have the girl of the cunning hairs and the movie lover of the cunning hairs, Anby. Yes, Anby, our girl, our electric girl of all time, and also honorable free-to-play warrior character, Anby the Mara. So Anby is a electric stunner, and she is extremely, extremely good as a free-to-play stunner. Yeah, I'm not joking. She's really good. People do underrate her because she's good, but she's actually really good. I'm not joking. All of these characters, honestly, are just really, really good. So, yeah. Well, anyways, let's talk about the Stunner's kit. So, her kit is mainly focused around EX Special. Yeah, you'll probably see a trend as to why some of these bottom characters are in the bottom. But she is reliant on her EX because she gets days for it. At level 7, she gets 64, of course. But, after the third hit of a basic attack, you get extra days. So you mainly want to do your EX off of third hit on basic because it comes out faster too. Right here. Yeah, it comes out faster. And also, because of that, you get 50% or at least around a 50 days gauge at like minimally built Anby. She's that good. She's really, really that good. And I'm not even talking about her Mindscape Cinemas yet, because let's just talk about that real quick. I had to get her core out of the way just to show you how good it is. But MC1 increases energy regen rate, which means that she's able to get her EX faster. Her 2 increases the damage on stun enemies, which is really, 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 really good. And also increases the days by 10%, meaning that she's able to stun even faster. At 4, she's able to recover 3 energy, which means that she's able to get more energy back at a maximum of 6 to get her EX special. And then her 6 literally gives her a charge on EX special, and when she uses a basic attack, it increases the damage by 45%. Means she becomes a pseudo DPS, aka a sub DPS. So yeah, every single thing in her Mindscape Cinema revolves around her days, which is why I wanted to show her core first. So because of the triple attack into EX, that is mainly what you're gonna be doing for Anby. So yeah, mainly the main rotation goes is attack, 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 EX, attack. Because after EX, you're able to do Thunderbolt for free, which does, again, daze damage. You want her to daze. So that is the main role of her stun capabilities. As for special, well, I did talk about it before. Lightning Bolt. This is her main bread and butter. This is what makes Anby Anby, besides her core, of course. But you mainly want to throw Lightning Bolt again off of her third attack, but you can do it raw. But if you do it raw, she is vulnerable in that state, and she also launches it extremely slowly. But that's not all this special is, because her Fork Lightning is actually really useful. So if you didn't know, her Fork Lightning is a launcher. And if you don't know what a launcher is an attack that flings the opponent in the air. And because of that, you can set up juggle combos, which are extremely, extremely good in this game. You can set up juggles. You can also set up infinites. Yes, infinites. Basically, the enemy can never, ever touch the ground as long as you do an infinite combo. Because of how juggle combos work in this game, it's extremely easy to get to. And all you need is Fork Lightning. She can also do it off of Lightning Bolt, but it has to be basically comboed into to get it faster. So, yeah. But because she has a launcher, a lot of characters can combo with her, which is extremely, extremely good. Also, she's able to combo it with herself. Yeah, she's able to basically do Fork Lightning into a basic attack, and that's an infinite. Yep, it's an infinite. So, yeah, she's able to infinite the enemy solo if you are into that. As for her other stuff, they're not really that useful. The only things that you are going to be doing is basic attack and special. You can do dodge. Dodge is extremely good too, because she's able to basically get energy back because of her additional ability. But dodge is only there to give your EX. Yeah, remember, all of her kit revolves around her EX. Even her dodge. Her dodge gives her energy, and energy gives you EX. So yeah, as for the other things, not really that useful. Assist is really good, obviously, because it gives you days. For ultimate, not so much. You're not going to be using this ever. It's like the same thing as Piper. If you're going to be using main DPS Anby, then yes, this is really good. If not, then no. You're never going to be using this. So yeah, but mainly her main gameplay is just stunning enemies and basically filling up the days meter. And you know how good stunners are. They are basically the meta in this game, and she's extremely good. But now, well, it's time to talk about her main problems. 1, she cannot stun really effectively unless you have EX. This is the one downside that she has compared to other characters who do have stun capabilities. And that's because you have to force her to run a semi-energy build. Basically, give her 2-piece energy. If you give her that, then yes, her problem is fixed. But she relies on EX too much, as per se, well, Kaleda, which we will be getting on later, she doesn't really need it. Her EX is just there to give her a state where she's able to do basic attacks, and basic attacks are free. As for her, she needs EX. She relies on EX to get stunned. And, well, of course, her 4th basic attack too. But because of that, she's held back. Yeah. She's held back. She also can get combo interrupted. She has no interruption resistance, which means that if you do try to get the 3rd attack, most of the time you're probably not going to get it, because some of the enemies in Shield Defense and Hollow Zero are aggressive as crap. So yeah, good luck trying to get the 3rd attack in to get the EX. Secondly, her teams are actually extremely, extremely good. You have electric teams like Grace, Reina. You also have Cunning Hairs with Nicole and Nekomata. Yeah, she has extremely good teams. The only problem is, that's it. That's all she has. She has Cunning Hairs and her main type, which is electric. So you have a handful of options too, just like Piper. So basically, all that Ambi has is the Cunning Hairs and electric characters. And that's it. That's all she has. And that basically puts her in a weird, awkward situation where, well, yeah, she's just there. She's just there. The reason why I don't count Chingy is because Chingy is a stun character. Yeah, which means that you're able to just replace Ambi. So, yeah, unless you really do want to run 2 stunners on the team, then sure, why not? But Ambi, well, you get the idea. Ambi doesn't have that many teams. So, yeah. Which is the same reason why she is at number 9 for me. So, yeah. Well, anyways, there is Ambi, our girl. She's still really good. People do sleep on her, but she is really good. I mean, she's so good that she made it to the top 10, right? So, yeah, that's something to be proud of. So, yeah. Next up, well, we have our number 8 spot. And on our number 8 spot, it's basically 2 characters that I haven't owned yet, but I know what their capabilities are. So, at number 8 is actually a tie because I can't really decide who tops who. Because both of them literally are the same character and both of them fill similar roles in their teams. So, yeah. At number 9, well, that number, I mean, above number 9, we have the cat girl and the member of the Cunning Hairs, Nekomata, and, well, the lone soldier who loves spicy food, Soldier 11. Yeah, both of these characters share the top spot of number 8. So, yeah, well, let's transition. I'm going to be talking about Nekomata, and I'm going to be talking about Soldier 11, and I'll just talk about why both are similar and also what their weaknesses are. So let's transition to Nekomata. So, Nekomata is a physical attack, and Soldier 11 right here is a fire attack. Yeah, you see why both of them are basically pretty similar in general? It's because both of them share the same attribute. They're both attack characters. So, yeah, they fill similar roles, and you'll see what I mean. So, for Nekomata, she relies on dodge. Yeah, that is what her main damage is. She relies on dodge and quick assist. So, you are going to be using that a lot, and you are going to be using that way too many times. She also gets an additional ability, Catwalk, which basically inflicts assault and increases damage of EX. So her EX is going to hit really hard, and that is where your main damage is going to be, her EX special. So yeah, her EX hits really hard as long as you inflict assault. And guess who combos well with her at the moment? Piper! So yeah, Piper is probably going to be Nekomata's best partner. But because of that, she gets basically increased EX special by 35% up to 2 times. This stacks up to 2 times. So all you have to do is trigger assault twice. Yeah, trigger assault twice. And any character can do it too. So you can't just do assault Piper and then let Nekomata do the second and then do EX, which gives you a net total of 70% EX special. That is busted. That is absolutely busted. So yeah. Not only does she hit hard on dodge counter and quick assist, she hits hard on EX. Yeah, she's extremely good. She's the best assault character in the game. And also one of the best physical characters in the game because of it. So yeah. And well, let's talk about all of her useful stuff in her kit. Of course, her main useful thing is going to be her dodge, because that's where all of her damage comes from because of her core passive. Her dodge gives her just basic physical attacks. Same with normals. Normals give her basic attacks too. You can hold it, by the way. Yes, if you do hold the button, you're able to do basically Crimson Blade, which is a quick attack. It's a 33.33% chance to hit it 3 times, but most of the time you're just going to be hitting it once. So yeah, it's really weird. But you can just do this if you want a little bit of extra damage, I guess. But most of the time, you're just gonna be doing it after like a set of 3 attacks, and then you just do it for a well, hopefully get the juicy 3 hits on the Crimson Blade. So yeah. Assist is also gonna be one of her main damage dealing methods because of her core passive. It's able to basically just give you more physical damage, which also helps with Assault too, because she's a physical character. So yeah. EX is going to be also one of your main damaging tools as well, because of how hard it hits thanks to the additional ability. So yeah, she's able to do massive physical damage, and that is what you're going to be doing. Her ultimate, of course, is going to be extremely useful too, because it does big physical damage. It also hits AoE. Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good crowd controller on ultimate. So yeah. And that is Nekomata. Now let's talk about Soldier 11. Soldier 11 is basically the same thing, but her kit is kind of different. But all of your basics do increase damage as long as you have fire suppression, which is pretty easy to get because all you have to do is just activate it at the right moment, aka at the moment when her move strikes, basically. So like you have to time it basically. But when you time it, all your attacks become fire damage. You can mitigate this, by the way, by doing EX. EX just gives her the buff anyway, and you get it up to 15 seconds, and you can only use it 8 times. But it's still extremely good, especially if you do give her energy. If you give her energy, she's just gonna get this immediately, and basically permanently. Yeah, it's extremely good. But her main damage source is obviously going to be Heat Wave. Additional ability is also extremely good because you get enhanced attacks by stunning a enemy, which is going to be most of the time because you are going to be running a stunner with her. But yeah, she's able to do 10% more fire damage, and when the enemy stuns, she gets an additional 22.5 with a net total of 32.5% fire damage. So yeah. She's just going to be doing massive, and I mean massive damage on stun enemies, which is what basically a DPS is. I did talk about her normal attacks. They do fire damage, and her EX, of course, just gives her a way to go into fire suppression. It's its main use, after all. Her dodge isn't really that good, but it gives you free fire damage. Yeah, as long as you dodge, of course. Her assist isn't really that good, but it's still a really good pitch because it still does fire damage, and it does stack again with fire. It does basic dash attack. Basically anything that gives her that just increases the damage. So yeah, you can't just go this and then immediately into EX or basically a time normal attack to get more attacks in. It's just your typical basic attack assist. And for ultimate, of course, it hits really hard. After that, you get fire suppression too. So it's extremely good. And also, after change, she gets fire suppression too, which means that she's able to do basics. So yeah, you don't even need EX. EX is only there if you really do need the fire suppression immediately after your 8 fire suppressions are used up. But other than that, you can't just get up to 16, I guess. You could just do chain, and then you do normal, and then just waste up all the suppressions, use EX, and then do it again. Yeah, that's basically what Soldier 11's gameplay is. So, what are the similarities between these two? 1, they are literally attackers, and they're really good against stun enemies. They literally both share the same role. They attack, and then the enemy dies. But that also leads me to their downsides, of course. The main reason why they are ranked together is because, let's say it with me, their teams. Yeah, a common trait shared on the the bottom of the list. So, for Nekomata, it's the same as Piper. All she gets is physical characters and the cunning hairs, which means that all she gets is Piper Corrin. Piper Corrin, that's it. That's all she gets. Besides the cunning hairs, of course. So you can do like somewhat synergy based things, but most of the time you're going to be pairing her up with other characters, specifically Piper. So mainly the team you're going to be running with Nekomata mainly. is going to be Nekomata, Lucy, Piper. That's probably going to be your main team. But as for Soldier 11, she also has the same problem. Yeah. Under the same attribute and faction. Guess what? She has 0 characters in her faction because she's the only character in our faction. Which means that she doesn't even get any characters to work with. So all you have are fire type characters. Yeah, so all she gets is Kaleda, Ben. Kaleda, Ben. Lucy. Kaleda, Ben, Lucy. That's all she gets. Yeah. It's really, really limiting for these two, which is the reason why they are basically close together. You can literally interchange them. Soldier 11 is good if you give her the right stuff. Nekomata is good if you give her the right stuff. The only problem is they don't have that much to work with. So, yeah. But with the limited resources that they are able to work with, they pop off really, 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 really good. For Soldier 11, you can run Mono Fire. It's still probably a really good team. For Nekomata, you can run Semi Fire Assault. Yeah, Semi Fire Assault. You can also run Cunning Hairs. Cunning Hairs is extremely good for Nekomata too, and that's because Nicole has Defense Shred. You can literally do Defense Shred, Nekomata, and then something else. Yeah. So, Nekomata and Soldier 11 are basically similar because they share, like, little to no teams, and they fill similar roles. They're both DPSs. And you can pit them equally because Nekomata hits hard. But so does Soldier 11. So yeah, I can't rank these characters separately because they're literally the same. I can't. So yeah. Well, anyways, there is the top 8 spot shared by 2 agents in the game. So, well, anyways, it's time to transition on to the tier list. So yeah. Well, anyways, at number 7 is the, another girl from the Sons of Caledon. Yes, you heard me right. Another character from the Sons of Caledon, the Batter, and also, the girl who commands the pig minions, Lucy. Yep, Lucy is our number 7. So, Lucy, or Luciana di Montefiore, is a fire support, and supports in this game are extremely good. You'll see what I mean once we talk about her. So, let's talk about her Mindscape Cinema first before we dive in. So, keep this in mind when we do go into her skills. So, 1, her MC1 literally gives her more energy for boars. Yep, which means that she's able to summon them extremely efficiently. MC2, Cheer On gets boosted by 10 more seconds. Cheer On is the passive effect that she gets on her boars, which increases attack, which is extremely, extremely good on her. For MC4, she gets additional crit damage on Cheer On, and it's really, really good because she passes it on to allies. MC6 literally gives her a EX guard board that does fire damage, and also the Cheer On effect is increased by an additional 5 seconds. Yeah. And also, you can refresh Cheer On, which means that she gets infinite Cheer On. Infinite Cheer On. Yeah. Keep that in mind once we talk about this. So, what is her kit? So, at level 7, she gets 200% EX. 200%. Yeah. 200% on Cheer On guard boars. And remember, in her additional ability, she gets crit rate crit damage, meaning that your boars are gonna hit hard. Yeah, they are basically minion characters, but they are extremely, extremely, extremely good. Especially since they inherit her attack and impact, meaning that she's able to stun enemies, basically, on boars. Yeah, boars are basically what her bread and butter is. It is what she is. It's the main reason why she's a support. It's because the boars do all the damage for her. So, with that in mind, she gets 200% of guard boar. On your additional ability, you get crit rate crit damage on boars. And the way to summon them is pretty easy. Just do special or EX. If you do a special, you get a fly ball, which does a guard boar. For EX, you summon 3 guard boars. Yep. Cheer on is her basic ability. Of course, it scales off of level, but it increases the attack and also increases additional attack too at a maximum of 600. And all allies get it. All allies get this cheer on effect. And remember, on MC6, she gets this permanently, as well as a 10% crit damage increase. You know what this is good on? Yeah. Yeah, she makes these two extremely good. And they combo well with her because for Nekomata, well, you get a 60% increase on dodge counter and quick assist because of Lucy. Lucy literally passes cheer onto her, which gives her a bunch of damage. Same with her. She gets 70% increased basic or dash attack. Guess what? She combos into Soldier 11 because Soldier 11's a fire character. So yeah, she combos well with basically all of these agents who do sync up with her. She's just extremely, extremely, extremely good. She's way too good for, well, her own good, I guess. Too many goods. So, if she's that good, what is her downsides then? Why is she at number... Well, why is she at, well, where she is, number 7? It's because of her teams. Again, it's her teams. All of her normal skills are basically kind of useless except for, I guess, ultimate. But again, it's just like the others. You get energy, sure, if you do your ultimate, but your ultimate is saved for your attack characters in this game. So again, unless you are running main DPS Lucy, then no, this ultimate is basically pretty useless. Her main level up is her boars. Her boars do all the damage. Her basics are okay. They're really okay. But they are pretty useful in leveling up your guard boar's attacks. Yeah, this scales guard boar attacks. So mainly you want to level this up second, of course, but her EX is her main thing because of cheer on. Cheer on is what makes Lucy Lucy. As for the guard boars, if you want them to do more damage, of course, level up basic. But other than that, other than EX and basic, these 3 are useless. They're absolutely useless. Yeah. And as for teams, that is also her ultimate downside. So her teams, let's talk about them, shall we? It is Sons of Calydon and fire characters. It's the same problem as Soldier 11, except that for Soldier 11, well, she has no characters on her team. As for Calydon, or Sons of Calydon, at least has Piper. So you can run Lucy Piper. But other than that, it's useless. Absolutely useless. Completely and utterly useless. So what you get for her is Kaleda, Ben, Soldier 11, Piper. That's it. That's all she gets. And remember, 1.2 isn't out yet, so they don't get synergy yet. So the only synergy that you're able to get with them is Piper, and that's pretty much it for Sons of Calydon. So yeah, Lucy is held back again with teams. That's the main reason why she is at the bottom again. But then again, it is a relatively new game. More characters will come out in the future, but as of right now, that is where Lucy stands for the most part. She is at number 7 because of her team options and as well as other limiting factors on her team. But other than that, if she does get the help she needs and if she does get a lot of fire characters in the future, then yes, she will be bumped up later on because she's actually extremely, extremely good. So yeah. Well, anyways, now we're moving on to basically around the halfway point of the list. So yeah, at number 6, we have the technician of the Bellabog Industries, Grace Howard. Yep, Grace Howard is our number 6. So let's talk about her. So Grace Howard. Grace Howard is a electric anomaly character. And I already discussed about how good anomaly characters are. So Grace is pretty much the same in that regard. So let's talk about Grace, shall we? So her core skill is extremely busted because she gets electric anomaly buildup as long as you use special or EX, and they are easy to get because, well, that's what her main gimmick is. It's her EX. She throws grenades. And also her basic attack gives her grenades. Yeah. So you can't just do enhanced grenade attacks, which is extremely, extremely, extremely good. So the more basics you get up to, like, you get 1 stack of zap. You get a maximum of 8. When you do maximum, you can do a special or EX to consume the zaps and get electric anomaly buildup. You're mainly going to be using this to basically do EX and then get immediate electric anomaly buildup to get shock. That is her main gameplay, basically. So yeah, at max level, it's at 130%, which is extremely, extremely high anomaly buildup. So yeah, it is really, really, really busted, especially on disorder teams. If you don't know what disorder teams are, they are a mix of 2 elemental teams. So mainly, right now, she is ran with a shock team as well as with disorder teams like Piper. Piper, yes, Piper does work with her. So yeah. And as for that specific circumstance, she's able to get additional abilities too, which increases the shock damage. Yep. It's extremely good. Mostly all of these agents' additional abilities is basically what you want because it increases their kit exponentially. For Grace in this instance, she gets a increased shock damage by 18% and she could trigger it up to 2 times. Yep. And it's extremely, extremely good. Yeah. She's able to get really, really, really high shock damage. And it's not hard to get it because of electric anomaly buildup being at 130%. So yeah. Well, speaking of that, let's talk about her EX. So her EX is her main bread and butter, of course. You are going to be launching this if you do have enough zap stacks, which is recommended because you get, again, 130% electric anomaly buildup as long as you have all the zap stacks and you do special or EX. For special, you only use it if you don't have EX, but she has 4 uses of EX if you have her meter full. Yeah, if you have max energy, she's able to do 4 of these for free. Yeah, so mainly what your main gameplay is going to be is do basics to get zap. Once you get enough zaps, you do EX. That's her main gameplay. So yeah. And because of that, she is extremely easy to play. So yeah, it's extremely good. Also, you can launch grenades pretty fast anyway. She actually has one of the fastest EXs in the game because of it. So yeah, you can literally dodge, you can do whatever you want on the basic attacks too. Yeah, you can move while doing basics and she's able to get the zap stacks in. So she is a pretty dodgy character too. You can't just ultra instinct your way out of certain attacks because of how she moves. It's similar to Shuyan. So yeah. But her quick assist is also pretty good too. She's able to do electric damage, and because of that, she has a evasive assist. Yep, she has an evasive assist, meaning that she's able to do whatever she wants for at least 2 seconds. But because of those 2 seconds, you can do whatever you want. You can do more shock damage, you can do more build up, you can do whatever you want. You can even switch to another character. But yeah, it's extremely, extremely good. Vital View is honestly one of the best assists in the game. It's just extremely, extremely good. So yeah. As for dodge, it's extremely good too. Perfect dodge is what you're going to be using most of the time as well, in conjunction of EX and basics, because you're able to do electric damage, which again increases your electric anomaly buildup, which gives you shock. So yeah, she's extremely, extremely good. And well, there's not really that many downsides to her actually. Yeah, Grace is the cutoff point for this list, because at that point after Lucy, or at least around Lucy, or well, around, I guess, Nakomata and Soldier 11, that's the cutoff point where all the characters start to become really good. Yeah. The only downside that I have with her is, again, teams. But that's everyone in this game. Yeah, teams aren't like a main issue, I guess, because you can't just run multiple teams. But then again, teams, again, are really useful because you need the additional ability on your characters. So, as for teams, the reason why she ranks above everyone else as of right now is because her teams are more better. Yeah. You get Bellabog Industries, so meaning that you get Kaleda, Ben, Anton. But she gains Electric, which means that you can run the best stunner in the game, Qingyi. You can get Reina, one of the best supports in the game. And you can get Ambi for those free-to-play characters, of course. Yeah, you get a lot of options and you get a lot of mileage out of her. She is that good. And because she's an anomaly character, getting Electric Anomaly build-up to get Shock is extremely easy to get. Especially in a mono Electric team. Right now she is ran with Qingyi, Reina, Grace. Yeah, Qingyi, Reina, Grace is honestly extremely good. But the only problem with that is that Qingyi doesn't get the buffs, really. Because, again, her Qingyi, she needs an attack and a pubsec character. Grace is neither of those things. So you basically have to find a way to fit her on the team, which is why now the new team is Grace, Anton, Qingyi, which is still extremely good. So you can run Anton, Qingyi, Grace, but her old team is still pretty good too. Anton, Grace, Reina. If you don't care about Qingyi's additional ability, you can just run Qingyi, Grace, Reina. But other than that, she is extremely good because she has better options out there than other characters. But yeah, that's basically it for Grace. She just has a better team selection than Lucy. If Lucy has better team options, which will be very soon, she'll just topple over Grace. So yeah, well, that is going to be it for the number 6 spot on the list, which is Grace Howard. So yeah, there is Grace in a nutshell. So now we are officially at the halfway point, boys. We have gone over a lot of characters, and well, we have to finish this off. So yeah, let's just get on to the top 6 of the game. So at number 5. At number 5, we have the leader of the Bellabog Industries, Kaleda Bellabog. Yeah, Kaleda is number 5 on the list. So, what makes Kaleda good? She's a stunner. Remember when I said that stunners are the meta of the game? Yeah, she is extremely good in that regard. And, well, she is the best fire stunner in the game because she's the only one. But on the teams that she is on, she performs extremely well, and I will show you why. So, for Kaleda, in core, she gets 60% days on Furnace Fire. And the way to get Furnace Fire in Kaleda's kit is to do EX. EX is the only way she's able to do Furnace Fire. But if you do Chain, she gets Furnace Fire too. So it's pretty easy to get Furnace Fire. It's just like Soldier 11. All you need is EX or Chain. Kaleda is the same boat. EX or Chain to get Furnace Fire. But 60% increased days on Furnace Fire, which is extremely good. And also, her additional ability gives her more stuff too. So when you use an EX, you get 35% more chain damage, and it can stack up to 2 times. Yeah, all you need to do is hit the opponents with 2 EXs, and then you do a chain. Yeah. That's really good. So this makes, basically, any of the DPSs in her team hit extremely hard. They hit extremely hard because of this. Yeah, she's really busted. Absolutely broken. And on top of that, well, she hits hard herself too. because of her normal attacks. Her normal attacks, if you do have Furnace Fire, gives her massive fire damage. And guess what you're going to be running her with? You're going to be running her with fire damage characters anyway. So yeah. As for, well, if you have Ben on the team, Ben will basically just give her more damage, but it's not really a main factor as to why she's good. She's literally good on her own. She doesn't even need Ben for the enhanced normal attacks. Well, yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. Ben is only there to just basically give her more damage. If you are going to be running main DPS Kaleda, then yes, this is extremely good. As for Kaleda as a pure stunner, she doesn't need Ben. It's more like a gimmick, I would say, for Kaleda. At least it does look flashy though. So if you are going to be running Ben with her, it's pretty flashy. You can run Kaleda Ben. It's pretty cool. But most of the time, you're going to be running her without Ben, because Kaleda is extremely good. And if you are going to be running Ben, you're going to be wasting a team slot. So yeah, and teams are extremely important in this game because there's only 3. There's only 3 slots in the game. So yeah, giving up a slot for Ben is pretty much kind of a loss. It's a opportunity loss, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But her Furnace Fire effect is extremely good because it combos well with everything. Her dodge counter is extremely good. Her assist is extremely good. Of course, defensive assist on a Daze character is extremely busted. For special, this is your main way of getting Furnace Fire, which combos into her normals. And her normals, again, 60% increased Daze. Yeah, pretty busted, right? And her ultimate is really good too. It's just that, again, it's just like the other characters. Your attack characters are going to be doing the ultimate, not your other characters like Daze or like supports or stunners or Anomaly. Anomalies can do ultimates. Of course, ultimates are pretty good. I forgot to mention that for Grace. Grace's ultimate is extremely busted. But yeah. Well, as for ultimate for Kaleda, it's not really that useful, but on main DPS Kaleda, it's great. It's absolutely great. She hits hard. She hits absolutely hard because of it. And, well, now we talked about all the good stuff in her kit. Let's talk about the bad stuff in her kit. 1, she needs fire. She needs Furnace Fire on her basics. So, when you do a, well, at the start of battle, she doesn't get any of this. So the main point in trying to get her to Daze is basically halted compared to other characters. For Anby, she gets halted because she needs EX. For Kaleda, it's basically the same thing. It's that she gets halted because, again, she needs her Furnace Fire stacks. That's all she needs. As long as she gets Furnace Fire, she's able to do big Daze damage. The only problem is her getting there. But her normals hit so hard in the Daze spectrum that it's kind of easy to get Kaleda to stun in the first place to do chain. Yeah, you can do chain, and then you can do Furnace Fire. For Anby, she's overly reliant on EX. For Kaleda, not that much. She doesn't really need it that much. If she gets going, she gets going. That's all she needs. The only downside for her is that she has a slow start. For Anby, she has an extremely slow start. For Kaleda, it's not really that big of a deal. She starts, I guess, faster than Anby is what I would say. But other than that, her teams are, again, kind of limiting, but it is extremely good though, because she gets the Bellabog Industries agents, and she also gets fire characters. So Soldier 11, Lucy, we already talked about how good they are. Bellabog Industries, we talked about how good Grace was, and she combos well with Kaleda because they can't just do this. You can't just do Anomaly shenanigans because of it. You can do Disorder thanks to, well, we could talk about it right now. Ultimate. You're mainly, if you are going to be using the Bellabog team, you are going to be using Grace's ultimate, which does extremely massive electric damage, which is extremely busted on Grace if you are going to be running just Anomaly as your main DPS. But it combos well with Kaleda because she gets enhanced normal attacks, meaning that you're able to do disorder damage. Yeah, really busted. Well, as for, again, teams, she has limited but still good teams, I would say, because she does have some options for her. But, well, that's really about it, really. The only downside, and that what makes her not reach the top 5 is because, well, she's slow. She's absolutely slow to start. But she's not as slow as Andy, as I would say. So, yeah, that's basically it for Kaleda. Kaleda's still extremely good, just not good enough to make it to the top 5, honestly. But she is sitting comfortably at the top 6 spot, or in this case, in this tier list, top 5. Alright. So now, it's time to talk about the top 5 characters in the game. But in this tier list, it is the top, the top 4. So, we already talked about how good these characters are. Kaleda, Grace, Lucy. I would rank them very similarly. They are interchangeable, after all. As for these characters, they are also interchangeable. You can make arguments into all of these. So, well, as for the cutoff points, I'll mention this now before we get to the top 5, because the top 5 is going to be crazy. Absolutely crazy. This is basically the actual cutoff point into how good characters are. So, the cutoff point right here, before Lucy is right here. So 8, 9, 10. That's your cutoff point for this section. For 5, 6, 7, that is also a cutoff point because all these 3 characters can be exchanged equally. Same with them. You can put them in however order you want. This is just my opinion again, but I think that Kaleda is better than both of these two because of how much stunners are really useful in this game. So yeah. Well, anyways, now that I explained myself, it's time to talk about the top 5 best characters in the game. So this is where I start basically praising them, where they have little to no downsides, actually. So let's talk about them. At number 5, we have the leader of the Cunning Hairs, Nicole Damara. Nicole. Yeah, Nicole. Who people thought was one of the worst characters in the game at 1.0 is now in the top 5 best characters in the game. Yeah, she's that good. I am not. And I am seriously not joking when I say that she is extremely, extremely busted. So, well, let's talk about it, shall we? We're going to be talking about her Mindscape Citadel, of course, because this is her, it's what makes her really good. So, yeah. Well, for MC1, she gets Anomaly Buildup for free. Yeah, she also gets increased attack as well. And she also gets, really, really good duration on her EX, which is really good. Means that it lasts longer. For MC2, she gets 5 energy back, meaning that you're able to get more EX specials. For MC4, she's basically able to, generate a EX, and then the duration gets increased by 3. Yeah, which is really, really good. So, yeah. She gets a wider EX, is what I'm trying to say. Her MC6 gives her more damage, gives everyone crit rate up to 10 stacks of 1.5%, and it lasts for 12 seconds. So she gives crit rate to everyone, which is extremely, extremely busted. Keep that in mind when we talk about her. So her main gimmick, her main core is her EX special. So yeah, this Ether support character, well, she relies on EX special to be good. So let's talk about her core. So when you use a special EX chain, you get enhanced basic attacks. When you use a enhanced base attack, her target's defense gets reduced by 40%. So she's played as a quick swap character, and quick swap is one of the hardest playstyles to play in the game. But if you master it, if you completely master it, she's one of the best quick swap characters in the game because of it. So when you do a normal attack, when you do a defense reduction, you can do normal and then switch, and then your character will just do big damage. Absolute massive damage. And let's not well, sleep on her additional ability either, because you get more ether damage. All squad members get more ether damage. Yeah, which means that, well, the only ether DPS in the game, Shuiyun, is her best partner. Yeah, really, really busted. But other than her additional ability, it's okay if it isn't a ether character, which is her main downside. That's the only downside she has, is her additional ability. Her additional ability only works on ether, but because it works on ether characters get to pop off because of her, because she's an ether support. So yeah, it works well for her in the end. But 40% defense reduction is going to be her main gimmick on core, which is still extremely good on characters that aren't on ether teams. So yeah, it's useful on cutting hairs, is what I'm trying to say. Remember, defense reduction. Guess what? It combos well with, in one of the attacking characters, Billy and Nekomata. Yeah, the two attack characters from the cutting hairs really benefit from Nicole's defense shred. It's absolutely insane. So let's talk about it, actually. So her main gimmick, or her main bread and butter, is her EX special. Because when you use her EX special, you're able to do a big ball, or I guess I would say black hole, that does ether damage and also sucks the enemies in. This means that her EX special is a crowd control special. Crowd controls in this game are extremely, and I mean extremely important in this game. Shield defense has a crap ton of enemies, so killing them as fast as possible by grouping them together is ideal. Absolutely ideal when doing Shield defense, which makes Nicole one of the best characters in the game for it. She is absolutely busted. She is great on mob fights. Absolutely insane. Also, a little funny tech that you can do is when you do the hidden input on Nicole, aka do a 360 on the joystick or the 360, and then you just sit on the suitcase, she gets full invincibility. She gets full invincibility and extended invincibility as long as you hold down your EX. So when you hold it down, of course she gets invincibility, but you can extend it by sitting on the briefcase. Yeah, and also she has hidden tech too if you do the hidden input, because if you let go early, she lobs the shot, meaning that it's delayed, meaning that all your characters can do whatever they want before the EX hits the opponent, which is also super busted too. Yeah, there's not really that much to say here. She's just broken. She is one of the best crowd controllers in the game, and she's free. She's free. She's free. You get one of the best crowd controllers in the game for free. I can't really describe how good she is. But that is where all of her stuff, well, goes downhill though, however, because all of her stuff kind of sucks unless you talk about chain. Her chain is really good, obviously it's chain, but the main thing that you're gonna be using is EX and chain, and that makes her good already. Remember, she's a support. She doesn't need attack, dodge, or special. She doesn't need those because she is a support. She's not there to do damage, she's there to support the party. And because she supports the party, she fits her role really well, and that's what makes her extremely good. She's a crowd controller. She buffs ether damage, meaning that she's able to buff one of the best attackers in the entire game. Yeah. And also, she has great teams because of it. She has Shuiyun, which is the only ether character, so yeah. Because of Shuiyun, she gets access to the best, or one of the best, stunners in the game, Qingyi. Qingyi, yeah. She gets access to Qingyi, who is also a crowd controller. So you get double crowd control. Busted, right? She also gets cutting hairs too. And it's probably one of their best partners too. You're never gonna see Nicole not run on a cutting hairs team. Nekomata, you have an excuse to run Nicole because of the defense shred. Billy, you have an excuse because she has defense shred. For Anby, She have an excuse again because she has defense shred. And also, she gathers up enemies because of crowd control. And because of that, she's able to stun every enemy in one place. Yeah, no, Neko... Like, I can't describe, like, how good Nicole is. I have to gush because Nicole is just that good. People say that she sucks. Not anymore. So, yeah. Nicole, honestly, one of the best Ether characters in the game. I would say that she is a GOAT. Absolute legend. Nicole Damara. Yeah. Really, really, really busted for sure. And now, we move on to the top 4 characters in the game. Yes, sirree! The top 4 characters in the game. So, if you do fill in the puzzle pieces together, you probably can guess who the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 are. But, well, I won't say it now because it just spoils the surprise, right? So, yeah. At number 3, we have 2 characters. Yes, 2 characters again share the same spot. We have the maid of Victoria Housekeeping, Reina, and we have the food-loving Oni Sokaku. Yeah, both of these characters share the number 3 spot on the list, aka the top 4 in the list. So, let's talk about them. So, Reina. I will be talking about them basically the same way I did with 11 and Neko, because both of them share the same spot because they're literally the same character. They're both supports. Yeah, they're both supports with similar teams and similar everything. So yeah. Well, let's talk about Reina, shall we? Reina is honestly one of the best supports in the entire game. And that's because she gives a buff. An absolute monster of a buff that makes her a, well, I guess I can't put it any other way, an absolute monster on the field. So, what does she give you? Pen ratio. And pen ratio, what it does is it ignores defense. It ignores defense. Absolutely busted. Yeah, Drusilla and Anastella will just do extremely high damage for free. She also gets free electric attacks thanks to specials. She gets really fast attacks thanks to basics. And also you can have Drusilla and Anastella up because of basics. Yeah, really busted. You can also call them back too if you want to by holding the, well, the basic attack, or you can hold EX if you want, or hold special. But her main gimmick is that her Bangbu are on the field to do big damage. That is what she is. That is what her main role is. She does big damage. So, with her pen ratio at 12% up to 30, she's able to ignore 30% defense. Yeah. Which means that all your characters are going to hit harder. There's really nothing around it, really. She gets pen ratio increase. Yeah. Pen ratio increase for other party members. 30% pen ratio. 30% pen ratio. As long as Drusilla and Anastella are up on the field. As long as they're up on the field, you get increased pen ratio for all characters, including herself. Which means that you can run main DPS Reina if you want. But the main reason why Reina is just really, really busted is pen ratio. Up to 30%. 30% pen ratio. Absolutely busted. Absolutely insane. She's able to give this to party members, meaning that party members are going to be hitting really hard. Her EX also hits really hard too. It also does give you anomaly build-up as well, if you are going to be building her with an anomaly build-up-esque build. You can give her anomaly proficiency too to increase the electric damage, because most of her attacks are electric damage focused, so you can just do that. Her dodge, her basics, her special, her chains, all of them are electric damage, so you can't just run anomaly proficiency, just like Nicole. So yeah, basic support things. But what really makes her really, really good is her chain. Her chain does massive, and I mean massive damage. Also, it resets the Drusilla and Anastella buff. Yeah, meaning that you get even more pen ratio. Her MC1 basically makes her more comfortable to play because Drusilla and Anastella are on the field for way longer, but she doesn't need that because she's just that good. And that's a similar boat to, well, our Ice Oni, Sokaku. So Sokaku is also a ice support, which does really, really good. But instead of giving pen ratio to party members, she gives attack. She gives attack! Up to 500%, up to 500 attack for 22 seconds. That is a long time. That is an absolute long time. All she needs is max vortex stacks. As long as you get max vortex stacks, you get increased attack. And you can double it up to 1000 attack. You get 1000 attack for free. You get 1000 attack for free to all party members. So just like Reina, who ignores defense thanks to pen ratio, she gives 1000 free attack to party members. Busted. And all you need are vortex stacks. That's all you need. And to get the max vortex stacks are pretty easy to get, because you're mostly going to be using Sokaku at an end of a chain. And when she is in a chain attack, she gets 1 vortex stack for free. Yeah, busted. And also, even if you don't want to use the vortex stacks, you can use her chain. She gets Fly the Flag, which means that this core activates and you get the attack buff on your next chain character. Yeah, so meaning that you're able to get 1000 attack for free on whoever you want. So yeah, and all you need is 3 vortex stacks. 3. Really busted. Absolutely busted. And also her core is really good too. It's similar to Nicole's, where ice damage is increased. But look at the boost, 20% for 22 seconds. 22 seconds! That's a really long time compared to, well, let's look at Nicole's. For 3.5, yeah, 3.5 seconds compared to Sokaku's fat 22 seconds, 20% increase on ice damage. Yeah, this is why she's the best A rank character in the game. That's because of, well, she gives free 1000 attack to characters as long as you fly the flag on 3 vortex stacks. And she gives 20% ice damage for 22 seconds. This can be used on herself, by the way. So she's gonna hit really hard if you are gonna be using main DPS Sokaku. And you can make her a hybrid. You can make her a support and DPS. She's gonna hit really hard on Fly the Flag anyway, so why not capitalize it, right? So, because of that, well, let's talk about her EX. So her EX is her main bread and butter. You can't Fly the Flag, of course, without EX. You could basically do that, but you can consume all your stacks, by the way. But it's really good. If you don't have your EX and if you have 3 vortex stacks, you can use Fly the Flag right away and then just do an assist into your other, well, agents to get the 1000 attack buff. But her main way to get vortex stacks is her EX. So when you use her EX, you get 1 vortex stack as long as it hits. She's gonna be hitting because the vortex is, well, it has range. So even if you do miss the swing, the vortex is gonna hit an opponent eventually. When you do use the banner to attack, basically, when you do the EX up close, she's able to do a ton of stun, meaning that once the enemy is around 80 days, you can just do EX special, and it's able to stun them. So yeah, around 80 or 85, is basically the time where Sokaku does her fly the flag, which does, well, again, give her 1,000 attack for party members. So yeah, it's extremely, extremely good. So yeah. Also, well, I didn't mention this before, but Sokaku also has a launcher because of EX, and as well as fly the flag. When she does rally, which is when she holds it and then she opens the banner up, she launches the opponent in the air. Yeah, it's a launcher. But Sokaku is so unique that she actually has two. She has two launchers. Two launchers. She has two launchers. Yeah. Her normal first attack, yep, one basic. All she needs is one basic. She launches the opponent in the air for free. All you need to do is switch into the character who can juggle. And, well, you could just juggle the opponent. Yeah, she has two launchers. Her normal and her rally. Both of those are extremely good on her. So yeah, you can just do a juggle combo with her very, very easily. And it's really easy to get anyway. Also, she's one of the best crowd controllers in the game too, because of Rally. Rally literally has a big AoE hitbox on her. As long as the opponents and the enemies are in that AoE, they will get launched. Except for elite enemies, of course. But they will get hit. They will absolutely get hit. And her chain is really good too. She's able to move around in her chain. And when you do that, you're able to group up enemies together. And they are dragged with you. So you can't just do like a semicircle. And then just do the final attack of the chain. And then do whatever you want afterwards. Yeah, she is also a crowd controller, which is extremely important, again, in Shield Defense and Hollow Zero, because there are a lot of enemies to deal with in those games. So yeah. Her ultimate is not really that useful either, but it's great on DPS Sokaku, because it increases her crit rate by 15%. Every character gets energy back, and it's just really useful in general, because she gets Fly the Flag, which combos well with her normals. Yeah, so for main DPS Sokaku, if you have her ultimate, it's honestly one of the best things. But since she is a support, mostly, you're going to be using mostly her EX, her chain, and sometimes her assist, because her defensive assist actually does good daze damage, believe it or not. So yeah, you can't just use defensive assist to basically squeeze a little bit of extra days in there if you want. But mainly, what her main purpose is EX and chain, as well as her core, of course, to give damage. So, why are Reina and Sokaku so similar to each other? One, they give one of the best buffs in the game compared to their other support competitors. For Reina, she gives pen ratio, 30% pen ratio. For Sokaku, she gives 1,000 attack. Lucy can't even give that. Yeah, she gives her cheer on effect. Sure, cheer on is still really, really good, but it's well, it scales off of level. But for Sokaku, it's unconditional. 1,000. 22 seconds, by the way. 22 seconds. Absolutely insane. Insane! And, well, let's talk about her Senoma, shall we? Because it just makes her even more insane. We even forgot to talk about her A rank, because she has an A rank, so she can't get this easily. So, when you do core, you get a buff duration of 8 seconds. Yep. 8-second buff on your 1,000 attack, meaning that you get it for 30 seconds. 30 seconds! 30-second attack buff. Yep. At MC2, she can get 1 stack of Vortex if you do a dodge, dash attack, basic, or quick, and it's a 50% chance. And, well, you get energy, too, if you do get additional stacks, which means that she gets her EX faster, and she is going to be stockpiling those EXs to get consistent Vortex stacks anyway. Her MC4 shreds ice. It's a ice res decrease of 10%, meaning that ice characters are just gonna pop off. And then MC6 just gives her more additional damage on basic attacks, which means that she's really good on MC6, meaning that she becomes a pseudo DPS. A pseudo DPS. 45% more damage. Yep. Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah. Really nothing more to say there. So, yeah, 30... I had to talk about the 22 seconds before I had to talk about the Mindscape. And that's because 22 seconds is a really long time, sure. But her MC literally gives her 30. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. That's a long time. That's an absolute long time. And unlike Lucy, Sokaku has good teams. The only problem is, well, in order to activate her additional ability, she needs the same faction. Guess what? She's the similar boat to Soldier 11. There's literally no characters in her faction. But the few characters that she has on her team are some of the best characters in the game. That's why she's up here. Same with Reina. Reina is really good on any team. And she also is paired up with one of the best characters in the game too. So, that is their similarities. Their teams and their support capabilities are extremely, extremely similar to each other that you can't really rank them above each other. They literally share the same spot. They're just that good. For Reina, it's pen ratio. For Sokaku, it's attack. And both of them are extremely, extremely good on those things. So, let's talk about their team options. For Reina, she gets Electric and, well, Victoria Housekeeping. Guess what Victoria Housekeeping has? Ellen, Lycon, Corrin. Ellen and Lycon are some of the best agents in the game. Yeah, that's literally enough said right there. Also, on the electric spectrum, you get Grace, one of the best anomaly characters in the game. Yep. Anton, he's extremely good too. He's an extremely great electric character, and it combos well with Reina's passive on the additional ability, which increases electric damage for squad members by 10%. Yeah. So, which means that she's able to combo well with Grace, Anton, Reina, which is an extremely good team. Also, since Reina is part of Victoria Housekeeping, you can run Ellen, Lycon, Reina. Yeah, which is also extremely busted. So, Reina has literally some of the best teams in the game. Same with Sokaku. For the few teams that she is in, she's extremely, extremely busted. Because Sokaku is an ice type, she combos well with two of the best characters in the game. Ellen and Lycon. Lycon is one of the best stunners in the game, and he's ice. That combos well with Sokaku because Sokaku's ice. And guess what Sokaku is? Is a support. So, if you are going to be running main DPS Lycon, that's her best partner. Sokaku is his best partner. So, Lycon's going to hit hard, as well as inflict a lot of days. And the attack character gets to do whatever they want. So, you can literally just run, like, Lycon, Sokaku, Corrin, or something. And then the team pops off. But, her best team in the game is Mono Ice. Ellen, Lycon, Sokaku. That team is one of the best teams in the game. If not the best team in the game. Because Lycon shreds res. If you have MC6 Sokaku, she shreds ice res too. She gives attack to Ellen and increases the ice damage for Ellen too. And Ellen is one of the best attack agents in the game. Meaning that Ellen's gonna pop off. Which means that she's gonna shred through Shia defense. Yeah. Sokaku's broken too. So, both of these characters share the same spot because of how busted they are. And as well as, well, the teams they are featured on. They are featured on extremely, extremely busted team. And, well, since they are both extremely very valuable support characters that just can't be, well, ranked all that well because of that, I just can't rank them separately. I have to rank them together because both of them are just extremely good. And by the few teams that Sokaku has, she's up there with Reina as one of the best supports in the game because of ice. If she didn't have that, then yes, she would be ranked lower. But because she has attack on top of ice, she's just extremely busted. Same with Reina. Reina is really good too, with Electric and the Victoria housekeeping team. Because of those, they are ranked where they are right now. So, now we move on to the top 3 characters in the game. Yes, the top 3, baby. Oh boy, this is going to get very interesting indeed. So, for the top 3, we have, well, I can't, there's no sugarcoating it at this point. You already know what the top 3 are. I can't sugarcoat it anymore. I talked about them a lot in the Sokaku and Reina thing. So, well, there it is. The number 2 spot is the leader of the Victoria housekeeping, or their boss, Von Lycon. So, what is Von Lycon? He is a ice stunner, but he's more than that. He gets increased days on basics, and you are going to be using basics a lot because you can charge it for ice damage. He gets ice damage res. Ice damage res. 30 seconds of ice damage res. As long as you do EX special or follow-up. You want to know how broken that is? Remember who is on Victoria housekeeping? Ellen Joe. Ellen Joe will absolutely pop off with this. It's the reason why Lycon is one of our best partners. It's because of the ice damage res. It's also great on main DPS Lycon too, because he's able to do more damage on basics, and guess what? They do pretty big damage anyway, so might as well give him a crit damage build, right? Yeah. Absolutely insane. So, not only does he get 80% days on basic, which is pretty easy to get because it's unconditional, you get ice damage res. Yeah. And also, his additional ability is pretty good too, because when you hit a stun enemy, you get a stun damage multiplier of 35%. Yep. Busted! Busted! Absolutely busted. More stun damage for the win. Yeah. Which means that he's able to stun faster. Yeah. Really good, honestly. Lycon is one of the best. As for the stun damage multiplier, it's just super good on a main DPS Lycon. Which means that you can't just run him as a main DPS. Yeah. Because of that core, you can just run him as a main DPS. 35% stun damage multiplier. Yep. Really busted. Absolutely busted. Well, now it's time to talk about his, his kit, which is all good, by the way. He can do basically charged attacks, which the ice damage, which again combos well with his core. And they do big, massive stun damage. Yeah. Busted. His dodge is really good too. It basically inflicts a lot of stun too. Mainly the perfect dodge, of course. His defensive assist inflicts a lot of days, and he's a stun character, so it works well with him. His EX, we already talked about how good it is. It gives him ice damage res shred. Yeah. And also, again, massive days damage. Chain is really good too. You just get massive ice damage too. Busted. Absolutely busted, which also combos well with his additional ability. Remember, the target enemy will be stunned if he does use his chain. So remember that. And that's not the best part of his kit. The reason why Lycon stands above all other stunners in the game. Remember what I talked about with the last stunners? They rely on a certain gimmick to basically get their stuns in. For Anbi, it's her EX. For Kaleda, it's Furnace Fire, or basically her EX. For Lycon, he doesn't need that. Because it's already in his base kit. Yeah, he can literally stun right off the bat. No setup needed. No EX needed. Literally, all he has to do is hold the attack button and he starts stunning. There's nothing more to be said, honestly. Lycon is one of the best agents in the game because of it. His stun is literally unconditional. You don't need EXs. You don't need basically anything, really. Because he can just stun on normals. No other character can do that. Besides 2. And I guess Kaleda, if you count her with Furnace Fire. I guess 2.5 to be specific. Anby can't do that on normals. She relies on EX for stun. For Kaleda, you can do normals, but you need EX to get Furnace Fire stacks anyway. So, yeah. For Lycon, you don't need that. He literally gets it right off the bat. So you can just do it immediately. On, like, 1 second. 1 second in the fight, you could start stunning enemies. Pretty nice, right? And also his teams. His teams, well, you already know how good Ice is. I gushed about it on Sokaku. Yeah, guess what? Sokaku is one of his partners, as I discussed before. But he gets Victoria Housekeeping too. So Ellen combos well with him. Reina, one of the best supports in the game, combos well with him. Corrin, not really as good, but she is still a great option on physical. So you can't just run Lycon, Corrin, and then a random character of your choice. Yeah. Lycon has good teams. Extremely good teams. And on the teams he is on, he performs really well. Even if he doesn't get his additional ability, he doesn't need it. Yeah, he doesn't need it. Because his core passive already does more than enough for him. He doesn't need the increased damage on stun multiplier. Because he's already good enough. His main job is to just stun the enemy. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Lycon is one of the best agents in the game because of it. And for that, he is number 3. So, now we move on to the top 2 characters in the game. This is where, well, I have to, talk about this before we move on. Well, as for the cutoff point for the other tier, remember, it's Kaleda, like these 3, these 4, and now it's these 3. So, basically, above Reina is where everyone is considered the best agent in the game. And they are interchangeable. I forgot to mention this when I put Lycon on there, but the cutoff point here for the best agents in the game is Reina. So yeah, these next few characters, they are literally interchangeable. You can make an argument on what the best characters in the game is, except for tier 0. For tier 0, there's literally no argument, and you'll know what I mean. So, at number 2 is 2 characters that share the same spot. And it's the same reasons why number 8 and number 3 share the same spot. It's because they literally fill the same role. At number 2, we have the Shark Girl, maid of Victoria Housekeeping, Ellen, and the PubSec officer and the captain of the team, Shuiyan. Both of these characters are at number 2 on the list. So, why are they number 2? It's because they are literally used in every single Shiyu defense. Every single team in the game. Because they are attack characters. The main backbone in this game. Attack characters. Same with stun. Stun is also a backbone, but attack is also one of the big backbones of teams. So, what is Ellen and Shuiyan similar to? They are the attributes attackers. For Ellen, it's ice. For Shuiyan, it's ether. Both of these characters, if pitted against an enemy who is weak to those types, will absolutely crush and destroy them with no traces left behind. They are that good. So what does Ellen do? Ellen's main gimmick is that she gets flash freeze charges. Yep. And all she needs to get those is, well, she needs to just do a flash freeze trimming. once you get Flash Freeze Trimming, you get 3 stacks, meaning that you're able to do 3 normals. But that's not all. Her core gives her 100% crit damage. 100% crit damage on Flash Freeze Trimming. Yep. Your charge attack, or your Flash Freeze Trimming, which is this, is busted because it's her normal. It's her normal. Her literal normal gives 100% crit damage increase, meaning that she hits hard. She hits absolutely disgustingly hard because of that. Also, that's not all. Her additional ability gives her 3% ice damage up to 10 stacks. Yep, 10 stacks of this ice damage increase for 10 seconds, mean that you're able to do 30% ice damage for free. Yep, busted, absolutely insane damage. Yep, on top of the 100% on Flash Freeze Trimming on normals, by the way. Yeah, keep that in mind. But yeah, absolutely insane. So, her main gimmick is to get Flash Freeze charges, which are pretty easy to get because all you need to do is go into roaming state, hold the attack button, and you get 3 Flash Freeze charges. 6, by the way. Well, I have to mention this now before I get flamed. Well, I think it is her... It's her, MC1. Yeah. 6, by the way, if you have her MC1 on a fully charged Ellen. On normal, basically just, not holding the button, you get 3. So, yeah. At MC1, she's able to play comfortably, but she doesn't need that. Because all you need is to hold it for, basically, to get 3 Flash Freeze charges. Or, dodge, which is really, really easy to get. And you get a faster charge attack. Yeah, you get a faster charge attack. You get faster cold snap. Yeah, busted. Absolutely busted. Yep. Absolutely insane. Arctic ambush. And, well, the dash attack cold snap. Cold snap is only used to close the distance, which is also pretty good too. But you can immediately combo that into Arctic ambush too, which is extremely busted, which is why I mentioned it. So yeah. At Arctic ambush, you get 3 Flash Freeze charges. And you get interruption resistance too, so you can get these guaranteed. Yep, absolutely insane. You can get a max of 6 Flash Freeze charges, which means that you're able to do 2 sets of normal attacks, which are really, really, really busted. Again, all of her things are really good. Her quick assist is really good because when you do that, you can go into the roaming state for free or a quick Arctic ambush. Yeah, a quick Arctic ambush, meaning that you're able to get 3 stacks really fast on Flash Freeze Trimming. Her EX is also really good too. You can do Tail Swipe into the 3rd attack of Flash Freeze Trimming, which again, combos well with her core of 100% increased crit damage. She also gets Shark Nami, so after when you do a EX, you can do another EX to do Shark Nami into a normal attack. That works well too. Yeah, absolutely insane. It's insane how good she is. She's extremely, extremely busted because of it. So, when you do that, you get 1 Flash Freeze for free, meaning that your 3rd normal attack is free. Yeah, your 3rd normal attack is free. And remember, her core, increase ice damage, increase crit damage, meaning that it combos well with her EX. So her EX is also another great damage source. And her ultimate, her chain and ultimate, hit hard. Because she's an attack character, you want to go out of your way for this, because they hit extremely hard to the point where the enemy will probably just die in like a few seconds. Yep, that's basically Ellen gameplay. She's just your standard ice DPS. And also, it's a similar boat to Shuyan. Shuyan is the same thing. She is a ether DPS, which works similarly to Ellen. So, for Shuyan, her core is insane too. Increase damage on enhanced shot shells. Also, an additional increase of 40% if the enemy is stunned. Also, When you enter the battlefield, she gets 6 enhanced shot shells, meaning that all you need to do is do 1 chain to get her max stack. Yep, busted. Absolutely insane. Also, her additional ability gives her increased crit rate if you do a EX chain or ultimate, and you are going to be doing chain. Remember when I mentioned that you could do chain to get 3 bullets back? Yep. That combos well with her core. So, she's going to be doing insane ether damage. And, well, speaking of enhanced shot shells, that is her main gimmick. So, when you do the assault mode or when you do suppressive mode, you're able to do basically a lot of ether damage per enhanced shot shell. She gets up to 9, by the way. So, you can do basically 5 ether damage shots because, well, her normal does 1 and then her second does 2. And then she does 3 attacks on the third hit, so that it consumes 5. If you do a roll in suppressive mode, aka moving, you could do well, it's right here. Yeah, you could move in suppressive mode and then consume 1 enhanced shot shell. Afterwards, you go immediately into your 3 attacks. So you can skip, basically you can skip the second normal into a third basic attack. Yep, that actually works. You can do that if you want. So basically the main damage route for her is just fire all your enhanced shot shells and, well, do big massive damage. Also, if you don't have enough bullets, you could just do normal attacks and you get 1 bullet per 4th and 5th hit, which does take a while, but it's still an option out there if you do want to get enhanced shot shells. But that's not the only way she can get them. She can get them off of dodge. Yep, which is extremely often. You are going to be doing this. She gets one off of evasive assist, which is extremely good too. She gets one off of EX. And she gets one off of chain. So, you get 1 per 4th and 5th hit. You get 1 on dodge. You get 3 on assist follow-up, which is extremely busted. On EX, she gets 3. And on chain, she gets 3. So mainly, what her gameplay is to waste all the shot shells, then get them back to do it again. A rinse and repeat character, basically. But, because of how well her core is, she gets increased damage on stun characters, meaning that you're able to do big, massive 80% damage. Yep. Her EX hits hard. All her shot shells hit hard. Everything hits hard. And getting bullets for her is easy as long as you know how to manage them. So, yeah, she hits really hard on the ether aspect. As the reasons why both of these are literally the same character and literally, like, will share the same spot and can't be interchanged, really. They can be just swapped together. You can literally make an argument on Ellen or Shuyan as the better character. That's because their teams are literally one of the best teams in the game. Yeah, literally one of the best teams in the game. For Ellen, it's Ellen, Lycon, Sokaku, or Ellen, Qingyi, Sokaku. Yes, Qingyi works on Ellen because Qingyi's additional ability, all she needs is an attack character. Guess what Ellen is? Ellen is an attack character. She fits. And also, since Sokaku is an ice type, it fits Ellen, meaning that Ellen gets her additional ability too because there's an ice character on the team, meaning that you get 3 out of 3 synergy. For Shuyan, back then it used to be Shuyan, Anbi, Nicole. Now you can replace Anbi with Qingyi. So now it's Shuyan, Qingyi, Nicole. Qingyi is a crowd controller. Nicole is also a crowd controller. Same with Ellen. Well, Qingyi is a crowd controller. Sokaku is a crowd controller on chain. Both of them are literally the same. Both teams are literally the same. They have crowd controllers. Both of them do literally similar damage to each other. And both of them fulfill their roles similarly. They're all big damage beating sticks that deal massive damage on stun enemies. That is what their main role is. And that is what they are in their core. They are attacking characters. They are used to attack the stun enemy, which is what they are mainly used for. Which is why they can't be swapped, because both of them are literally the same character. So, yeah. They are extremely, extremely busted in their own right. They're extremely, extremely good teams. Yep, literally one of the best teams in the game that you can use. Literally carries your account. Both of these characters carry your account. They are really that good. Absolutely insane. So, with that being said, that is it. The only downsides for them is, well, aren't really downsides because they don't have any. Yeah. Same with Lycon. Lycon doesn't have any downsides either. So, yeah. They are both extremely, extremely valuable. They're both extremely, extremely good. And that is why they're both at the number 1 spot. But now, it's time to talk about the top 0 spot. And if you have been paying attention, and if you have been, astute enough, you probably already know what the number 1 spot is. She's literally in 2 of the best teams in the game, can literally fit into any team because of her additional ability. And because of that, she is literally a must slot on all of those characters who need attack. And that character is the rookie PubSec officer and also the automaton, Ching Yi. Ching Yi is the best agent in the game. Yeah. Undoubtedly, undisputedly, the best agent in the game. No doubt. No doubt. She is the best agent in the game. Why? She's an electric stun character. You already know my opinions on stun. They're literally the backbone of this game. They literally are ran everywhere, and they literally help you carry Shiyu defense. She is also, as I mentioned before, a AoE crowd controller, which is very important in Hollow Zero and Shiyu defense because there are a lot of enemies that gang up on you. And being both a stunner and an AoE crowd controller makes her really, really good. But that's not what makes her broken. What makes her broken is her core. Subjudication stacks. Let's talk about them. So, when you do a finishing move on an enemy with their basic attack, meaning that you have to have 75 meter on her basically her meter right here. Yeah, flash connect. You just need to get 75%. When you do flash connect, it applies 5 stacks of subjudication. That stacks up to 20 times. Each subjudication stack increases the multiplier by 4%. And it stacks up to 20 times. Remember that. Remember, it stacks up to 20 times. For each rush performed on the basic enhanced moonlit, you get an extra stack of subjudication. Yep, an extra stack. If you do a perfect dodge, when you use the finishing move, it applies 10 more stacks of subjudication. Meaning that you're just going to be doing more stun damage. Yep. And guess what? Her thing auto-dodges. Yep, her enhanced Moonlit Blossoms, basically the finisher that you use to stun the enemy. It auto-dodges for you, so you get the automatic 10 stacks. Yep. Really busted. Really busted. You get, basically, it's guaranteed 15. It's a guaranteed 15 stacks, basically. So, when you apply Subjudication, the target receives double the stacks. Yep. So all you need is 1 dodge, and then you get 20 times the stacks. Yep. And the only way to get rid of Subjudication is when the enemy is not stunned, which is not that often, really. So you just get increased damage multiplier. Yep. Busted. Broken. Absolutely busted. Stun damage multiplier on her is really insane. She is basically one of the fastest stunners in the game because of this. Because of this. Yep. And let's not forget about Flash Connect, because I didn't talk about that. When she is over 75% on Flash Connect, every increase after that increases the stun that you're able to do on her charge attack. Yep. It increases the days. Meaning that this combos well even further than before. You see why she's broken? She's literally the fastest stunner in the game. Remember, she also AoE crowd controls for free too. Yep. And also her additional ability is busted too. So, your basic attacks deal 20% increased days. Remember, her third attack, the one where she crowd controls everyone with electric attacks, basically, the third attack of her basic attack, where she just spams a lot, it does 20% more days. Yep. And also, when her impact is greater than 120, which is easy to get anyway, her attack is increased up to 6 by up to 600, meaning that she's able to hit hard too. Yep. Busted! 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 Not only is she an AoE crowd controller, but she's also a great stunner too, and one of the fastest in the game too. Really, there's really nothing for me to say there. That's literally it. That's all I need to say. But she has more to her kit. Her dodge counter is pretty broken. Again, just like Lycon, she's able to dodge and then do big days damage. For assist, defensive assist just does big days. For EX, she literally has a way to get to her third attack faster. Yeah, her EX lets her immediately do a third hit of a basic attack, meaning that you're able to build up Flash Connect, which means it combos well into core. Yeah, you see what I mean. And her chain is also really good too. Increases the damage by 3% for every subjudication stack, meaning that she's able to do massive chain attack damage too, which also combos well with her additional ability. Yep. Really nothing for me to say. Anyway, Chingy is just that busted. Absolutely broken. God tier. Absolute God tier character. So, well, enough about me gushing about Chingy. What are the downsides on this AoE crowd controlling fastest stunner in the game character who also has an EX special that, well, coincidentally gives you one of the fastest stuns in the game as well? Her main downside is that she doesn't have any. Yep, she doesn't have any. She doesn't have any downsides, just like Ellen, Shuiyan, and Lycon. She's just that good. So, what are her teams then? We talked about her additional ability already, but I will talk about it again. All you need is an attack character and also the same faction. So, what does she have? She has PubSec, one of the best teams in the game, with Jane, Shuiyan, Seth. Yep. And attack. Guess what she combos well with? Ellen, Corin, Dilly, Anton, Neko, Mata, Soldier 11. She combos well with every attack character in the game. And remember when I said that attack characters are also the backbone of this game? She literally combos well with them. Yeah. She literally fits in every team. Unlike these characters right here, which is the reason why they are basically at top 2. Which is the reason why I didn't talk about their teams. So for Ellen, she has Victoria Housekeeping and Ice characters. But it only is the attribute and faction. For Victoria Housekeeping, all you have is, of course, Lycon, Reina, Corin. And then for Ice, all you have is Sokaku, because Sokaku is the only Ice character in the game. Yeah, it's limited, but she is still extremely good with it. For Shuiyan, it is support or same faction. So, she combos well with PubSec, Nicole, Sokaku, Lucy, Reina. Yeah, she combos well with them. But the only problem is that some of these supports don't even combo well with her. So the best support that she is able to combo with is, of course, Nicole. Of course. But remember when I said that their teams are limited? Because Shuiyan's teams are limited because of the supports. So she's only allowed to run at least like 2 of them. Mainly, of course, Nicole, Sokaku for the attack buff, but the ice damage doesn't really work. For Lucy, it's similar. She just gets boar damage and she gets cheer on, which is okay. For Reina, it's pen support, so of course it's really good too. But she mainly is ran with Nicole because Nicole is her best partner. She doesn't want to be ran with any other support other than Nicole. So yeah, that also makes her a limited reason as to why she doesn't have that many teams. Is because the supports that she can run with aren't really the best ideal supports for her, because Nicole is. Same with Ellen. Ellen doesn't have that many characters, but the characters she does have, she can be run. It's similar to Shuyan. They just have limited teams, basically. For Qingyi, however, because she has that attack character thing for additional ability, she combos with every attacker in the game, meaning that she cannot age. She cannot age. Because she could combo well with any attacker. She combos well with Ellen, Shuyan, Billy, Anton, Nakomata, 11. Literally any attack character of your desire. Korin. Even Korin. She combos well with all of them. Wanna know why? It's because of her additional ability. Yep. All I gotta say for Qingyi is, because she is the fastest stunner in the game, the best crowd controller in the game too, because it combos well with basic. Other characters need EXs, like Nicole over here, who needs EXs. For Sokaku, she needs chain. For Qingyi, it's all on basic. It's unconditional. Just like Lycon, it's unconditional too. The reason why Qingyi can just do massive stun damage, she doesn't need EXs either. She literally can do it off of basics. She can also do AoE crowd control off of basics too. And on top of that, she has the best additional ability in the game, and also the best synergy conditions in the game, because all she needs is an attack character on the team. And that is why, without a doubt, in my opinion, that Qingyi is the best agent in the game. Yep. There you go. There you have it. So this is my official top 10 tier list. I know it took so long to just discuss about it, but that's because, well, there is a lot to talk about for ZZZ. I'm just really passionate about everything. So yeah, this video is about to be 2 hours long, so might as well finish it off here. So if you want to look at the tier list, here it is. So I'm just going to name it off right here and then close out the video. So for number 10, the honorable mention is Piper. For number 9, it's Anby. For number 8, it's shared by 2 characters, Nakomata and Soldier 11. For number 7, it's Lucy. For number 6, it's Grace. For number 5, it's Kaleda. For number 4, it's Nicole. For number 3, it's shared by 2 characters, Reina and Sokaku. For number 2, it's Lycon. For number 1, it's Ellen and Shuyan. They both share the same spot. And for number 0, for the best agent in the game, it's Qingyi. And that, my friends, is the official, well, my official Zenless Zone Zero tier list. And that is basically it. So if you do like my ramblings, if you do enjoy this type of content, and if you want me to make more tier lists in the future, it is really fun to make these, by the way. So yeah, I can't wait to make more. If you guys are down to basically for me to make another tier list like this, be sure to support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing. It really does mean a lot if you do support the channel, because it helps me keep me motivated and making more videos. It helps me pump out more content for you guys. So yeah, if you do support the channel, thank you guys so much. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. So again, if you do like and subscribe, thank you so much for supporting the channel. And also, it tells me that you guys want more videos like this, like tier list stuff. So if you want to see more videos like this, again, support the channel. Also, comment down below. Since this is going to be a really, really long discussion on who the best characters in the game is, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this tier list? And what do you think about the top 10? You think you agree with my points, or do you disagree? And if you do disagree, what would you rank these characters? let me know in the comments down below. I would love to spark a discussion on this because ZZZ is such an interesting game. So yeah, extremely excited to basically know what you guys think. So again, leave those in the comments down below. I will be responding to those comments. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching this Zenless Zone Zero tier list / top 10 video. And I'll see you guys in the next gotcha video.